Welcome back to TheChowTimePod. Your host, Red. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate it. Let's get that chow time.
Disaster relief funds used on immigrants illegally in the U.S. The fact is, no money is being diverted from response needs. That's the fact. Misinformation, disinformation is indeed dangerous. It gets in the way in what we're trying to do here.
What? Yeah, steal our money?
What an odd thing to say.
I just want to tell all my brothers, hey man, first of all, I just want to say, man, thank you, Trump. Because guess what? I went to a construction site today, y'all. Remember, I didn't have no job. I was doing Uber. Couldn't find a job nowhere. I went to a construction site. They was already working. Got hired on the spot.
Nice. Shout out to you, brother, for trying.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you, Mr. Trump. If it wasn't for the move that you did make for the immigrants, and I'm not talking about the good people, I wouldn't have a job right now. Mr. President, I've been working all day, Mr. President. I just got off, Mr. President. I got a job for Monday, Mr. President.
I'm proud of this man. He is flaunting that he got a job and he's working hard. That's what I want to hear.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Guys, let me tell you, man, I walked in today on a construction site, hired me on the spot. I started work today, just got off, y'all. Mr. Trump, thank you so much.
I'm proud of men like this that want to work, trying to work, and they go to look for work. Hey, and they got it. He's so appreciative of it. He worked his ass off that day, and he came online to tell everybody, look, I finally got a good job. I wasn't able to do this before because there were so many people that were working construction that were immigrants. Shout outs to the man for finding a good job. Shout outs to Trump for helping him out on that. I don't know if Trump truly did, but it seems like it was possible because of it.
No. When I went to his bedroom to say goodnight, and he was crying because of the abuse that he was enduring in this school system.
Then why did you stay in Mexico?
Dude! Oh, ruthless. Damn. It's funny because this white lady here probably had the biggest reaction out of everybody.
That's indicative of what our kids are experiencing.
In an Uber once with a guy who's actually left and re-entered like 3 times, which is crazy. People are really driven.
Donald Trump is getting mad.
This is, again, true. I've experienced anecdotally people's families, other people's members going back and forth, being deported multiple times.
Mass deportations.
At least, again, I live in California, Southern California, so I'm sure it's much easier than most other areas.
Across the United States this week. And while he has not said exactly where the first raids will take place, he did say they will be arresting migrants in major cities first.
ICE raids have started in Chicago.
I don't think that they're criminals.
We will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came.
America has been propped up by immigrants for so long.
Very sad, but it's good for American people. Trump said you're leaving, bro.
I'm personally from Colombia, so I know a lot of stories about people who have been sent back, and it's definitely a very, very scary thing. It's a very scary process.
I'm sure it's a scary, scary thing to be deported and all these things, but they broke the law. They should be going back. At least they're getting a flight back, majority of them. Some other people did not even get here the same way they're going back.
This is the second time one person has come and banged me from behind. Alrighty.
Why?
Fuck you!
Why?
Again? Yeah! Twice actually! Fuck you!
I don't consent. I don't want
I don't
that.
give a fuck, you dumb bitch! Fuck you!
You support a fucking racist pedophile. That's what the fuck you support. You're inhumane. You're inhumane. Yeah.
You're a bitch. You're a bitch.
It's not nice.
Like, who's the true Diddy's here? The ones that come over illegally and are just harming children, or the man that's putting all of these men or bad people away?
Dave didn't do anything.
Okay.
Why are you so mad?
Shut the fuck up talking to me.
Mad. I'm not mad.
Why are you mad? Why are you here? I think it's fun. It's fun? Yeah, we think it's fun too. I make money off of recording you guys. You, that's great. I just want to let you know.
It's the truth.
Yes, bitch. Yes, bitch. Stupid asshole. Hey, fuck you, bitch.
Again, they think this is going to make us all of a sudden feel sorry for them and side with them.
Fuck you, bitch. Juan, you don't condone this, do you? Yes, he is.
Again, it's always the loudest, the rudest ones, but they're the ones that are going to make you and your people and what you're trying to do look bad. Again, there's always that few that ruin it for the many.
Vice President, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Good to be with you.
Oh, can we just get just a little bit of a question, please, so I can get it over the shoulder shot?
Yeah.
1 second. Just a second. Okay, thank you.
You need me talking?
Yes, sir.
Well, we were talking about how you're going to pay for it, and I mean, I truly do mean it. Your plans are logical, make logical sense.
The man couldn't even say the words. It was like, logical.
The way Washington works is not logical. So how are you going to convince a divided Congress that what you say, your plans, are something that they should all agree to and provide to the American people when they've shown no inclination to do that up to this point?
Is that what you needed?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. 30 seconds of silence, please, for room time.
Is these how these interviews work? It's just literally pause, answer a couple questions, say a couple things, pause to make everything look perfect. I literally thought it was just a whole conversation the whole time and they chop it up. This is weird. I can see why people like Trump more when it comes to interviews like this, because when he goes on the Joe Rogan podcast and things like it's true conversations. It's not whatever the hell this is.
Cameras are off.
How will you?
It's going to be taxes. It's going to be literally, if the economists, I mean, they're from each spectrum.
But I hear what you're saying about the economists. This is true.
Yeah.
But Congress is not the economists.
I know, but
How sad is it that the news people that are interviewing you have to save you by, setting up all of these things so that you don't have to answer everything directly and properly. I'm glad she didn't win.
This message is to Elon Musk from every proud American in this country. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
This man was fired from there.
Seeing all of the weird stuff they spend money on, the whole Doge audit, I don't see why people hate on it. I can't see why people hate on it. I really can't, because it is saving so much money. It is streamlining so many processes. I don't even know why some of the things we do are still doing it.
Air Force for pointing out the corrupt system. So Trump gave him an even better offer.
My name is Matt Lohmeyer. I was an Air Force F-15 pilot, and I was a commander in your newly created U.S. Space Force. I am also the first veteran of the Space Force because under the Biden-Harris regime, I was fired from my command and lost my pension for criticizing DEI trainings that were rampant in the military. Those trainings are still dividing our troops, and thank you for saying you would fire those few woke generals who are a big problem.
They're gone.
Will you consider establishing a special task force, office, or position to ensure that these monsters never return to the Defense Department?
You know what I'll do? I'm going to put you on that task force. I think it's good. Not going to do better than that. I'll put you on. Beautiful. I have your approval.
Yes.
Don't need to tell people that.
What's wrong?
you just smell so bad.
Yeah. Is that why you have the mask on?
I mean, it's definitely helping.
It's helping, right? So that might be your own breath that you're smelling.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it might be your own breath under that mask. So what are you so mad about?
That you're here trying to pretend like you're one of us.
I am one of you. I believe we are all human.
You're like a
really bad person.
And I also believe that unborn children are human too, and we were all human at conception.
No, we're not humans at conception.
What are we?
Zygotes.
What kind of zygotes?
Zygote means human embryo, which is a baby.
Eventually, they will become human.
But what are we at conception? We're zygotes. What kind of zygotes?
We're a cluster of cells, motherfucker.
What kind of cells? What kind of cells are we?
You know, you're just a bad person.
I'm just asking you, what kind of cells are we?
Right? It's very simple questions. It's not even attacking you in any way. It's when is this? When are we humans?
Well, since you aren't getting it, we are human. Those are human cells. Human cells with human DNA. 46 chromosomes, 2 sets from each parent. Because a zygote is created from 2 human parents, so that makes it a human.
That doesn't guarantee viability.
We're not talking about viability, ma'am. We're talking about if that person is a human, and it is.
Not a human.
Then what is it? You haven't answered my question. I've got a fan base started here, everybody. Okay, this is awesome. These are my personal fans right here. Hello. She says silence equals death. What does that mean?
That staying quiet isn't going to protect you.
Poor kids that aren't even born couldn't even say anything.
Okay, what are you and who's gonna die?
People are dying, bitch. Get out of here.
Yeah, from abortion. They are dying from abortion. That's a good point. It's ironic that you have a silence equals death poster, yet you have a shirt that says free legal abortions for everyone.
Yeah.
That's very ironic.
It's not if you actually know what the fuck you're talking about.
I've asked you a lot of questions about what you're talking about, and you haven't answered me.
You're not asking me a single question in good faith.
What kind of zygote is in a woman's womb?
Oh my God, you smell like shit. Get the fuck out of my face.
It's her mask. She has a mask on. She's smelling her own breath.
It's just interesting how we can shatter these people's worldviews by just asking simple questions. Like, why do you think that way?
Insane trade war has officially begun because Canada, Mexico, and China are pissed and have now all announced their own plans on how to retaliate against Trump's tariffs. I mean, even at last night's NHL hockey game, you had Canadians booing the US national anthem. So what the hell is going on? Well, you see, yesterday, Trump's promised 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico and 10% on China officially kicked in. And what that means is that any goods sent from these countries to the United States, well, they'll now cost companies 25% more, or 10% in China's case. So for example, if a Canadian business sent a car to the US that cost $50,000, today, US companies will pay a $12,500 tariff at the border. But then, and here's the annoying part, they'll pass that cost down to you, the US customer. So the price of your once $50,000 car is now actually $62,500. But this doesn't make sense. Why would Trump purposefully make things more expensive for Americans? Well, 2 main reasons. The first is more of a longer-term, unguaranteed benefit, but it would be to change consumer habits to buy more American-made products.
Which I think is a good thing. I think a lot of manufacturing should be in the United States, especially of the major things that we use, the major things that are very important. We've outsourced so much manufacturing to other countries. Now they kind of have more power over us because essential certain things they create for us instead of us creating ourselves. That's how I see it. So, but is it really going to work out too well? I don't think so, because American labor is just so much more expensive than all the other labors.
And incentivize more international companies to manufacture in the US. In theory, that means a stronger US economy, more stable jobs, and less dependence on foreign countries. And the second—
all 3 great things, by the way.
reason for imposing these tariffs would be to use them as a tool to pressure Canada, Mexico, and China into doing what Trump wants. I mean, some of these things that he's publicly mentioned include renegotiating trade deals, stopping illegal immigration and the flow of fentanyl, and then there's also Canada becoming a state of America, but that's a bit more far-fetched. But Here's where things get interesting, because instead of just doing what Trump wants, Canada have clapped back with a 25% tariff of their own, and Mexico said they're doing the same but haven't announced the percentage yet. China reacted in a little bit of a different way by preparing to file a lawsuit with the World Trade Organization. So why is Trump not backing down? Well, just listen to this. In 2023, Canada sent 76% of all of their exports to the United States. That accounts for roughly 19% of their entire GDP. In 2024, Mexico sent 78% of all of their exports to the United States. That makes up 37% of their entire GDP. But for America, their exports to both countries combined only make up roughly 2.7% of their entire GDP. So simple.
Well, I mean, US's GDP is much higher than the other countries, though, so...
Simply put, even if they do retaliate, getting into a tariff war with the United States would hit Canada and Mexico much harder. Trump, he knows this, and he's using it. It doesn't make it any less controversial, and it does still mean that people in all three countries will see a price increase. But it seems like, for Trump at least, that's just the cost of America winning.
Like, I can't hate on this idea because I fully understand it. Obviously, in practice, everything is going up in price, and that's a bad thing. But in the long term, I do see the vision of what Trump is trying to do and how America used to be. I remember America being great, where we used to manufacture everything. The best things that were ever made were made in America. When you talked about tools, when you talked about a lot, even tools nowadays, I think it's still American that is really high-end tools. But we used to be high-end everything. When you were like, made in America, made in USA, hell yeah. Made in China. And now we don't even bat an eye when we look at things made in China, made in Bangladesh, made in Vietnam. Like, that is so normal now, but that's because the labor over there is so cheap. If we started manufacturing here, hey, we have access to more jobs, more things. I do agree that labor here is more expensive, but that's the trade-off. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. And I could do